Hey guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'm so glad I found them. They have made this experience one of the easiest and greatest. One of the best parts about it, it's free. Hey, you can't beat that. They also have amazing, easy to use creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or your phone. Anchor also takes the time out to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. While you're doing what you love, you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one. Why choose anyone else? Do yourself a favor and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's Anchor, ANCHOR.fm. You won't regret it. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Let Me Touch You podcast. I'm your host, Barbara, also known as Barbie. And today I have a special guest with me. Guest, introduce yourself.
What's up, everyone? It's Haydee from the Ladies Pitch podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm good, love. I'm good here, chilling. You already know the vibes.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Did a little house hopping after work and ate and stuffed my face. Pretty much.
Mine was crazy. You don't know what I went through. At first, I woke up late. And then I told my son, I was like, Joel, do me a favor. Go take everything out the oven. Because, us Hispanics, we use the oven as storage.
Yes, I know.
So I was like, Joel, take everything out the oven for me so it can warm up so I can put the turkey. Mm-hmm. I come out the bathroom, showered and stuff, getting ready to cook. And I'm like, what's that smell? He forgot a Tupperware in there. The plastic burned in the oven.
God.
I had to turn off the oven, scrape the plastic off the racks, off the bottom of the oven. It was crazy. Then I got high off of the smell.
The fumes
Yes.
were healed.
It was crazy, but thank God everything turned out good. The dinner turned out great, perfect timing. But there was one more thing I went through. I'm about to put the Big Mac and cheese in the oven. I almost slipped and fell. A leak. I had a leak in the kitchen sink.
What was going on?
The pipe broke. There was water all over the place. And I kept thinking about that meme I saw on Instagram about somebody dropping the mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I would have cried. But thank God everything turned out great.
Oh, okay. I actually read somewhere really quickly that Thanksgiving is like the most busiest days for firefighters. Side note, fun facts.
Every year I think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope and pray that it never happens. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Yes, Jacob. They can hear you. What happened? What happened, please? All right, go.
When I don't play, I know.
Okay, go. I'll talk to you.
And I'm playing Fortnite right now.
Okay, play Fortnite. Could you close my door, please? You see, guys, why I'm recording every 2 weeks instead of every week?
Oh, man.
But yeah, every year I think about that. That's my fear of something happening, and and the crazy thing is that I envisioned it happening. Because, Joel is a teenager. You send them to do things, and they always rushing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came out the bathroom and I smelled it, I was like, I fucking knew it. And then he got mad at me for getting mad at him. So I ruined his Thanksgiving for a couple of hours.
You'll get over it.
Yes. But anyway, before we get to the topic, I wanted to discuss my giveaway, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
This last giveaway that I posted, like only one person entered. I'm like, are people tired of my giveaways? But I did put that video that, I was going to do 3 giveaways, and I'm a person of my word. So I want to do those 3 giveaways.
Okay.
So I'm only doing it for one last week. If nobody else enters, then that one person that entered will be the winner.
I got to take a look at it.
It's giving away the lashes.
Mm-hmm.
And the box of like self-care products.
Okay.
So, and also a water bottle, one of my water bottles. So guys, if you missed it, I'll repost it again for the third time, and hopefully you guys will enter. And I know it's not mainly for guys, but let's say if a guy does enter and win, it's a perfect Christmas gift. Or your girlfriend, or
for one of your options.
Yeah, one of your top 5, like Reggie calls them.
One of your top 5.
So enter, guys, enter, and I promise y'all this will be the last one for the year since y'all sick of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, girl, we're gonna talk about pillow talk.
Pillow talk.
Do you do pillow talk?
For the most part, no.
Okay.
It all depends how comfortable I am and with the guy. Depending on how comfortable I am with him, we are with each other, I will. But for the most part, these days, I find myself a lot more guarded than usual. So I try not to, pillow talk.
But before, when you would do the pillow talk, would it be a pillow talk? Because some people do it before sex, after sex, or just like when you're just cuddling?
Just like an after. Like after sex, we laying around, cuddling, or just, just talking shit, and we'll pillow talk and get vulnerable, and talk about certain things. But before I'm too amped up, too hot for you.
Waiting to see.
I'm waiting.
I read an article where it stated that usually pillow talk happens after sex, but only if the sex is good. If the sex was not good, pillow talk would not happen. You agree with that?
I have to agree with that article, yes, because if the sex was no good, I'm too upset to pillow talk with you. Honestly, I don't even want to talk to you. Like, I just want to be like, yeah, you've got to go. So
yeah, you won't do what I did before and cuddle just because.
No. That's why I asked you, why did you cuddle with him?
Yeah, only because I liked him. Guys, you have to listen to Ladies Pitch last episode and you'll know what we're talking about.
Oh my God. We got so many good feedback from so many people regarding that.
Still to this day, I'm still getting feedback from it. It was amazing. Yeah. You guys have to listen to that.
But yeah.
Okay, so I did post something on Instagram the other day. I'm gonna read it to you guys in case you didn't see it. And give me 1 second. My phone is acting up. I'm usually prepared. I'm sorry. My phone is being crazy today. Where is it? And what is it? Anyway, I can't find it for some reason. I know the post went something towards like asking if it's true or false, whether when you discuss your past with a man or a woman, they'll use it and throw it in your face later on. So most of the answers that I got, all the girls said true, and it's crazy because all the men said false. That's very...
Someone's lying.
Exactly. Because I think more, not all men are the same, of course, but I think more men will be the type to use it against you.
I believe, and I have heard, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a minute, in conversations with certain men, I have heard situations where women have thrown things that they've done for a man in his face, whether it be things they've done for him, whether it's been things that was spoken about, pillow talk. They've used that as a weapon to hurt the man later on in the relationship. I have heard of that.
Okay. I haven't heard of it. I usually hear it from the girls, like, the other way around. Like, if we'll tell, like, for me, for example, I'm an open book and I have that problem. I think I have to stop being an open book. There's just certain things about your past that your significant other really doesn't have to know.
Agree.
But the thing with me is that almost everybody that I've dated, it's somebody that I know some way, somehow. So they basically do know my past. And then when we start dating, I just kind of like fill in the empty spaces that they have. And then later down the line, they're like, oh, how can you be friends with this person if I know you slept with this person? So it kind of messes things up.
It takes a very secure man, in my opinion, to be okay with knowing about your past and accepting the fact that it is your past and it's not going to affect in any way, shape, or form the present or the future between you two. And that's very difficult to find, very difficult, because men, I believe, are a lot more possessive than women. When men are in love, I feel they're more dangerous than women. And I always say that.
Yes, I completely agree.
I always say that, and people debate me, and I'm like, listen, I've been in love and I loved a man, and I've been loved by a man, and I feel like it was a lot more intense.
Yeah, because when a man loves, he loves. You know, it's very rare that a man will give any female his all. So when he does find that female, he gives his all to her, and anything comes across them to mess it up or make them feel a certain type of way, like that's it. It's
correct. It's like a quote in a Tyler Perry movie. It sounds cheesy, but it says, men don't love as often as women. When they love just as hard.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's true, because, you know, us women, we're more likely to give love another chance and, you know, give somebody our all, even though we just went through like a heartbreak or something. You know, we still have that hope. When a guy gets their heart broken, it takes them a very long time to recover from that. I think double the time that we take. And even when they still go into another relationship, it's like he's there, but he's not fully there. Right. He'll still have his top 5, like Reggie says, just in case, you know, he has something to fall back on, and he won't give his all and feel stupid, quote unquote, after if it doesn't work out.
Right.
Okay, so in the times you did have pillow talk, what would you say is a question you regret asking someone?
And I have been guilty of this question in the past. This is not something that I would ask now because I've learned my lesson. Because there are men that are extremely brutally honest, and sometimes we want to hear the truth, but we don't want to hear it, right?
Yeah.
But I would definitely ask, are they sleeping with anyone else?
Really?
Yes, I have asked. And I don't know if maybe that's just me still being high off the sex, but I'm like, he can't be giving this good deed to anyone else. Like, because I'm gonna spaz. So yeah.
You ever gotten a yes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That after that, I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't need to be asking those questions. Now I'm good.
And when you got that yes, what was your reaction?
I was a little hurt, but I didn't react. I didn't give him the reaction, and he was just like, you know, he said yes, but he was kind of like, you know, this is still fresh. Like, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen, and I do like you, want to continue to get to know you, but you know, he was honest that he had other options, and I was like, okay, I can't knock him. He was honest.
Yeah, that's true. And you asked. Sometimes it's best not to ask certain.
Right. We were still rocking with each other after that because, you know, I was not going to penalize him for that, but eventually it didn't work out. But I respected his honesty.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. Okay, another article that I read, they gave me examples of questions we shouldn't ask, and you give me your opinion if you think it's true. So basically, questions that we shouldn't ask is, do you love your ex more? This is, for example, if you're in a relationship with someone.
Okay.
Not if you're just dating, obviously.
Okay.
If you're dating, there's just certain things you shouldn't ask. So if you're in a relationship with someone and you're having pillow talk, and it's just like, did you love your ex more than you did you love your ex more than you love me?
No.
I agree with that shit as well. It's like, why are you even thinking about their feelings towards the ex after you guys just finished doing y'all and you're there in bed?
No, you can't be stuck in the past. No.
Another one is, how was your sex life before me? Would you want to know about their sex life?
No.
Yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, that's a definite don't. I think anything about the past shouldn't be asked.
Right. Unless it's some type of medical condition that, like herpes, and you have to tell me you have it.
Yeah.
I don't care to know about your past.
Yep. Another question they stated that you shouldn't ask is, have you ever hooked up with any of your exes after y'all broke up in the past?
I don't think that that's something that you should ask during pillow talk. Honestly, I don't think that that's something that you should ask, but I can see how it can be brought up in conversation. I'm just talking about, bullshitting, getting to know one another, and
I think
you
that
might
more in the dating phase, not when you're ready.
Right. That's what I'm saying. More like in the dating phase when you're talking and you have these conversations with one another, and you kind of just ask like, hey, you ever hooked up with an ex? Like, I can see myself, or I can see someone like asking me that question.
I wouldn't ask, because little old me, that'll stay right there in the back of my mind, and I'm gonna be thinking crazy. That would be one of the things that I would definitely use against someone later on.
You know what I've realized just dating now in like 2019, 2020, women and their thoughts are really their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
We really are.
Yep.
It's crazy how powerful your mind is.
Yeah, you could create a whole scenario in your head, and then when the person calls you back, I was sleeping. No, you weren't. You was with such and such, and this and this and that and that.
Yeah, it really is. And if you allow yourself to take it there every single time, it's like, yo,
you're gonna go mad for no reason.
Yeah, for sure.
So another thing they said not to ask is there any way you and the ex are similar in any way? Like, things that you guys like, if you look like each other, things like that.
Do the old-fashioned way. Just look for her on Facebook, stalk her a little bit, and get all your answers.
Would you want to? Because then what if the ex is the complete opposite of you, and you're wondering like...
But that's the ex. So if you look at both my serious relationships, they look nothing like one another at all. But they both had, things that I like in a man.
Yeah.
They might not physically be alike, but they have their personality or characteristics of a man that I like, or that I can see myself falling for. So
yeah,
she might not look like me. Yeah, she might not look like me. She might be little, petite, blonde, and it can be totally different. But she's an ex for a reason, and I'm in the present for a reason. So,
amen. That's right. People do not look at the exes and look at them as, because some people look at the exes and they're like, okay, she could, like you said, she can be a blonde, petite, I'm thick and this, why is he with me? Maybe I need to look like her, especially if there's problems in the relationship. Sometimes I feel people tend to start looking at the ex to see what they can do better, or maybe figure out something that the ex has that they lack, and they probably thinking, okay, maybe if I do this, things will get a little bit better. No, they're ex for a reason, so do not think like that. And everybody's preferences change.
Absolutely.
There was one point in my life where I only dated light-skinned, skinny Puerto Ricans with braids. You don't see me.
I think we all had that phase.
I used to love it.
There was a point when I just like street dudes.
Yeah.
As dealers and guys that were sleep and shit the streets. I loved it. Like, you wouldn't see me going for that now.
I've never dated a street guy.
Oh, I love them. I used to love them. The bad boy. I loved it.
And you would think, because I'm a mafia fanatic, I love all of that. I say I should have been born into the mafia all the time. But I would never date a street guy. I would be too scared that something will happen, or
it's just exciting. But then you realize that they have no legit time for you because they're in the streets all the time. And then
streets are their main priority. Any other questions you think people shouldn't ask during pillow talk besides about exes?
Definitely no questions about exes at all.
Yeah.
Definitely don't ask what I asked. Like, how many other people you sleeping with, or are you sleeping with anyone else?
Yeah, that is true.
Well, in a relationship, you're hoping there's no one else, right? I think for the most part, the whole exes.
Yeah, anything from the past, just leave it there.
Yeah. Or did your ex, fuck like me? Did she fuck better than me?
The question where why didn't it work?
That's something that you can talk about. I can see that. Kind of just talk about. At some point, you can't completely shut out the whole ex conversation, because you kind of want to know what happens with an ex, especially if there was a serious relationship where like kids are involved. You kind of want to know what happened, because you kind of want to know, that's going to tell you about the man if he's honest about his past, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and you'll kind of just pick up and see to yourself, like pick up on red flags, if there's anything similar. So I think at some point you can, maybe you don't have to go so in depth with the conversation, but you can ask, like, yeah, what happened between you and your latest? You don't got to tell me about all three of them, but your latest ex, why you guys didn't work out?
Okay, that does sound good. And questions to ask. Okay, one thing that I thought about is, for example, name one thing that I do or that I don't do that you would like for me to do. It can either be in bed or more around the house, because, you know, everybody's different. Everybody was raised differently. Some females don't cook that much. So things like that. Name something that I don't do that you would like for me to do.
Okay.
I think that would be like a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
And that's good communication.
And that way you get to know how they think of you as well. Because sometimes your partner is so scared to just tell you. It could be one little basic thing because they don't know how you're going to take it. So I feel if you open up that conversation, it could lead to a whole lot more.
Right.
Another thing that they mentioned was one thing different that you would do about your life that your parents didn't do. You know, a lot of times we live our life trying to reenact what our parents did, but some people do not like the life that their parents gave them and they want to do something different. So I think bringing up that question will give you an insight of how they feel about their parents, how they feel about their childhood, if they enjoyed their childhood, and if they didn't, what would they do to make their life different for them, and of course later on if you have children and things like that.
I was having a conversation, ironically enough, with someone, that same question.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was telling her that I wish my mom would have really given me a realistic look as to how I should be as an adult woman, and not so much, oh, you have to cater to your man 24/7, you got to do what your man says, like, and know when to be submissive to your man, and when it's what kind of man you should submit to when that time comes. I feel like my mom didn't really instill that in me. I learned that myself as I grew up and I gained my own experience in relationships, and I had to fall on my face a few times.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of Hispanic mothers don't really sit there and have that conversation with their children the way they're supposed to. It's just like you said, I never got any of that from my mother either. The only man I ever saw her with was with my dad. They had an on and off relationship. And it was just like everything I learned from either seeing my older sisters or seeing my friends, what they went through, and kind of learning as I went, trying to figure things out.
That's kind of how I learned, my own experiences and watching my close friends.
Yeah, and then it's just like, half of the time they don't even have healthy relationships. So we're looking at it like, okay, this is the norm. This is what I'm gonna face in the future, and I just have to learn how to deal with it.
Right.
I remember at one point in the relationship that I was in, I was constantly getting cheated on, and I would talk to his mom about it. And she would just tell me, you know, it's life, it happens. You just clean that with soap and water and keep it moving.
Right.
Like, clean it with soap and water, keep it moving. Like, what if he gives me an STD? I can't clean that with soap and water. He's like, oh, you know, men are from the streets, women are from the house. You have to learn how to deal with it. As long as he's paying the rent and the bills and keeping food on the table, you just go with the flow, and eventually he'll stop.
That's that old school mentality as well that my mom had.
I'm not gonna teach my daughter that. I definitely not. It's now, and the way she is with her father, I understand it's her father, but you know, a lot of our relationships we get from the relationship we did have with our fathers. So she is one of those that it's all about her father. Her dad can be eating something. If she never tried it before, it can look disgusting, Haydee. And if he tells her, oh, princess, try this, just to please her father, she would try it. And I do not like that. And she'll look at him while she's trying it, and it could be disgusting, and she'll front like she ate it and walk off and spit it in the garbage or in the toilet. And she'll come back, Daddy, I ate it. It was so good.
Wow.
And I tell her all the time,
just to please her dad.
Yeah, because then that's how she's gonna be. I don't want her to be that as a woman to her man.
You lose your identity.
Yeah,
as a woman.
And I told him that. He's like, oh, but she's my daughter. No, don't make her do something she doesn't want to do. Because if you put a face like you're sad because she doesn't want to try it, she's gonna grow up with that in her head and think that she has to do whatever her man wants her to do to make him happy. And I hate
people don't understand the psychological aspect of it and how it grows up. How that stays in your head and you grew up with that, and it comes out in other ways. And it's true, she will grow up thinking that she always has to please her man to make him happy, even though she's miserable.
Exactly. And it'll be I forgot he was eating something disgusting that I looked at it and I was like, I'm not trying it. And she just and she walked away. She's like, it was good. And I looked at him, I was like, she spit it in the garbage. He was like, no, she didn't. Go look in the garbage. And she did. I'm like, I know her. Don't do that. Children, men, women, don't do that to your kids, because you're teaching them the wrong thing. They're gonna grow up with that in their head. And no, I refuse. I always tell her, I don't want her to grow up to be like that. Is there any other things that you think are good questions to ask during Pillow Talk?
I'm thinking about myself personally. Good questions. I definitely like to dig in a little bit into their past as far as like upbringing, for sure. That's something that I wish I would have done earlier with men, but that is something that I do now. I do ask questions regarding their past. How's their relationship with their mother, relationship with their father, if in the picture, if they have kids, how's their relationship with the mother of their kids? Even though I don't always like to go for men that have kids, I try to steer clear. You don't even know. I try to steer clear from men with kids. It's so hard.
I prefer men with children.
Because you have. Because you have. I don't have. So I try to stay away from it because I don't want to deal with baby mamas. I don't want to deal with I want to be able to see you when I want to see you. I don't want to hear like, oh, we got to plan this a week or two in advance because my kids. Not that I'm not understanding or I lack the patience to do so, but it's just, it's my preference. I try to steer clear from it. Watch my ass fall in love with a man that has like a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it's tough though, but I understand what you're saying. And that's the reason why I won't date a man unless he has children. Because I feel if I date a man that doesn't have children and I expect him to always get it all the time, I'm kind of being selfish myself.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put him through that. He ends up falling for me, or I end up falling for him, and we just don't have the time for each other. We're going to hurt one another. And it's not fair. So I understand why you prefer men with no children. Number one, the baby mama drama, because there's a lot of bitter.
I already went through it.
And the time, it takes up a lot of time. Being in a relationship, like I say, is like having a whole nother job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be single for another couple of more years.
And it's a good thing that I've met men that are very much involved with their kids and they're excellent fathers. Like that's a great thing. And I think that shows me that, if it was to work out and they wanted children, then they would be great fathers, Yeah. And I like that. It's a turn on at the same time. But yeah, it's a lot of other things that I don't.
But then now it's hard. Everybody has children.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hard for the people out there that don't have children.
Yeah.
So I pray for you, girl. Hopefully if you do
I do know. I got a few guy friends that don't have kids.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're good.
They're good. I was thinking this to myself, and I was having like a session or whatever the other day, and I was saying that I'm kind of hitting the point where I'm like okay with not having kids and just staying like that, just staying that way. like it's a bad thing, you know?
It's not a bad thing because you could be the favorite titi, the godmother.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy because growing up, I thought, you know how there's always one person in the family that can't have children?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be me.
Really?
Yes. Because me and the boy's father, we were together for a while. And, you know, we weren't protecting ourselves and I wasn't coming up pregnant. I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to be that one not to come up pregnant ever. And look at me, 4 kids later.
Yeah, my mom always tells me, she's like, because that's not the issue that I can't.
Yeah.
So, but my mom always tells me, she has this thing where she says, you're gonna get pregnant and like some crazy circumstances, like when you're not thinking of it, when you finally give up on trying to have kids. She was like, that's when it's gonna happen for you. And I'm like, yeah, great. This is the story of my life. Crazy circumstances to have a child.
And if it hasn't happened yet, it's because obviously you haven't met the right one.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And who knows if I have to finish all this healing that that I'm working on first.
Yeah. I realized after our last recording, the recording that I did with you, Alexis and Reggie, that I am not healed. I thought I was ready and I was healed, but nuh-uh.
Reggie did some shit to us during that recording, and even after the hangout we had afterwards, that we were just like,
yeah,
wow.
I'm still damaged good, guys, so don't listen to me. I'm not ready. But I am proud of myself that for Thanksgiving I was not toxic at all. You know how I told you I usually do the toxic text?
Yes, you did tell me that.
No one, not even friends
and
family members. Because I'm usually that friend or cousin or ex that's texting you every holiday just to let you know that you're on my mind. This year, nobody. Okay?
I received one.
I think I received like 2 and it was nice. But the only friends that I text were you, Alexis, and Bernadette.
Yeah, I received one for sure.
I was like, yeah, no, not this year. I'm not doing it. Not no more. I'm starting it off. Reggie has changed me, guys.
Yo,
all the toxicity is gone. Is out of my system.
Yo, eye opener. He opens our eyes.
Yeah, he did. Thank you, Reggie. We appreciate you. How about the question? Where do you see us in 5 years? You think that's a good pillow talk question, or it can ruin the moment?
It can ruin the moment. Depending how close you guys are, how deep you are in the relationship.
Yeah.
You can ask that. I'm not saying you shouldn't at all. I don't think that that's the right time after sex to say, oh, hey, where do you see us in 5 years? No, that's just something that you can ask like during dinner. You're sitting down.
You know, sometimes the sex is good and you're just there like in La La Land or in love. So where do you see us in 5 years from now?
Like, do you really want to talk about that when you're on a high?
I don't think I've ever asked that.
Try asking that question when he's doing something that you don't like when he didn't take out the trash, like.
Yeah.
Where do you see us in 5 years while he hasn't taken out the trash?
Like in the trash with this trash. So you better start taking out the trash before 5 years from now you're my past.
Yeah. Do you see yourself out on the streets again?
For real.
Belonging to the streets.
Me, pillow talk, from my experience, usually afterwards, like let's say after sex, it's just like, oh, how was your day? I keep it real simple with pillow talk. I don't know. I've never been the type to have deep conversations during pillow talk. I'm more like you on that sense. I feel those questions should be asked like during the dating phase and things like that. One thing that I don't agree with is, I had also put up a poll on this. Pillow talk, do you discuss your friends' relationships during pillow talk?
No.
Yeah, that's a definite no.
Any of your friends' business should never be a topic of conversation with your man. Absolutely not. No.
Yes, a couple of people, it's crazy, did say yes.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it because I do know a few females that do that. Me personally, nah.
Give me 1 second because this girl's whining here. What happened, Emma? All right, give me a minute. I'm almost done, okay? Could you please go? people. I'm sorry. I can't. I need to like record in like a deserted place somewhere where no one can find me. It's crazy. I wish you guys would have heard me screaming before Haydee and I started recording. It was crazy. But yeah, pillow talk about your friend situations. Let's say if you do discuss your friend's relationship, and you be like, oh, such and such is with this one, and then she's with that one.
No.
Yeah, they're gonna use that against you.
No,
That's one of the things that will definitely be used against you. They're gonna look at your friend like, oh, he or she is a hoe. When
last thing you need is for your man to think that you hang out with a bunch of hoes. Like, that is not any of his business. You don't need to tell him that. No.
Then whenever you're out with that person, they're not gonna trust you while you're out with them. They're gonna be thinking, oh, if she does that and you're hanging out with her, then that means you're doing the same thing when you're with her. So pillow talk about your friends and their relationships and their issues is a no-go, guys. I think that's something you should definitely not talk about.
Agree.
But if you do discuss your past with your partner, I don't think it should be used against you. Like those who are an open book, for example, myself, you know, we tend to like to share our past experiences, probably in the sense to show the person how much we've grown, or just to be honest, like I wouldn't want to bring you around someone that I've dated before and you don't know, and then somebody else brings it up and you're caught off guard.
Right.
So like I would bring certain things like that up just as a heads up, not just to throw it in your face to make you feel a certain type of way. Sometimes things are brought up for a reason, not just, you know, to make you feel funny or iffy about anything. Yes, could you please get out?
And let's be honest, how good is the D if afterwards you're talking so much? We should be knocked out.
Yep.
We should both be knocked out. Like, there's no time to talk.
Yep, it should be so great that you don't even want to get up from the bed to go shower. You just lay there butt naked and knock out together.
Yes.
So if you are going to have pillow talk, I don't think it should be after sex.
No.
And if it is after sex, keep it basic. Keep it real simple or just talk about how good it was, maybe. You know? Right?
I always say that I like to always give a review afterwards.
Yeah.
So if I don't say anything, then it was okay. It was B12.
It was C24. If I don't say
C24, or you'll know at that moment if it was C24. No.
Yes, if it was C24, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna get up, gonna go clean up, and tell you to either take me home or call me an Uber, because I'm not paying for my own Uber.
Right.
For those of you who don't know what B12, C24, and A1 is, I'm gonna give you a little preview of it, but you have to listen to Lady's Pitch last episode. So according to Reggie, C24 is that 1 minute man penis.
Yeah.
The 2 humps.
He actually said 5 minutes. He gave it a lot.
Okay.
So he puts in no work. The girl gets on top.
And then the B12 is the mediocre.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, but you won't get your box eaten out.
Oh, it may or may not consist of box eating. Definitely no ass eating.
And A1, you get everything. A1 is how long? He said 25?
The gold package, 25 to 30 minutes. Box 8, ass 8. Works. Everything.
And he's taking you home. He won't even put you in the Uber.
And he's going to get up and take you home.
So if you're giving me C24, there's no pillow talk after.
Yeah.
So, you know, I usually end my episodes with a quote. But before I end with a quote, any other thing you want to say about pillow talk? Anything you suggest, or you think we covered it all?
We pretty much covered it. I can't stress enough when I say do not talk about the past.
Yes, don't.
Do not talk about past exes. Do not ask if they're sleeping with anyone else, if it's in the dating phase.
Don't, because you're gonna ruin it. Sometimes it's just certain things you just really don't have to know.
Correct.
So let's just leave the past where it belongs. So the quote that I picked up for today goes as follows: we all make mistakes, have struggles, and even regret things in our past. But you are not your mistakes. You are not your struggles. And you are here now with the power to shape your day and your future. With that being said, leave the past in the past. Don't ask about the exes, like Haydee said. Moving forward, just ask things that are gonna better your relationship, help you get to know that person that you're with a little better, and make the sex better. You can ask, certain things about what turns them on, what turns them off. So next time around, the sex is so good you don't want to have no pillow talk.
Mm-hmm.
So Haydee, thank you for joining me. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Thank you, Boo. You can find Lexi and myself on Instagram, Ladies Pitch, and you can follow us on Twitter. Our handle is Pitch718.
Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it. Sorry about the interruptions with the children. But, by the new year, hopefully all of this will be settled, and I'll be back to every week and without any interruptions. Stay safe and stay blessed, and I will see you in